and welcome to Records Rebuilds. And after 2.5 or 3 years of waiting, it is finally time for the C8 Z06 Delivery video. And I am just really anxious to share it with you guys. I'm sorry this video is a little bit late. I've been working weekend shifts the last 2 weekends, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be editing this video on a plane. So bear with me. Thanks for tagging along and watching the channel, even though my updates are somewhat irregular. I really appreciate it. So we did the R8C delivery at the National Corvette Museum, which is right across from the Corvette factory. And it was just great. They present the car in an amazing way. The car itself is like way more amazing than I had imagined. Like it feels like a totally different car from the Stingray. My C7 Stingray and a C8 Stingray that I got to drive on track, they feel very similar to me, much like the same car. But this is something totally different. The different engine just changes the whole character of the car. And we'll get into a review of it in another video. But today's video is going to be about picking up the car, which was just an absolutely awesome bucket list experience. This car is very expensive, and to me that comes with Midwestern values and stuff, so that comes with a lot of guilt about buying the car, how much the car costs, which is absolutely insane how much it costs. So I wanted to say a little bit about that before we get started.
Okay, so why on earth do I have a picture of my family tree up here? Well, it's because this car is a personal success for me, but it's actually not my success. It's the success of a lot of people over a really long time who set me up to have success so that I could go to med school, so that I could be able to afford a car like this. It starts with a guy named Michael Rickards, who probably couldn't read or write because his name wasn't Rickards. Somewhere in there that changed. He was an indentured servant, sold himself into slavery so that he could come to the new world, basically. Had nothing. Started from absolutely nothing, and it took a long time to get something. You know, you've got him. I think Josiah Records here was a captain in the Revolutionary War. This guy, my great-grandfather, Charles Records, he worked the coal mines every day of his life until my grandpa said he remembers him coming home crying because they would x-ray their lungs every year, and he finally got black lungs, so they fired him, and he didn't know how he was going to support his family. My grandpa, first Records to get out of poverty, first Records to go to college, and then my dad, who taught me so much about working on cars that I was able to save enough money to pay for something like this car. So if you're out there and you watch these car YouTube videos, not necessarily mine, but all of them as a whole, and you think, man, I'm never going to have a car like that. I'm just one of the mindless millions. What I do with my life doesn't matter. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Every single person in this chain is somebody who just passed it on to the next generation a little better and a little better and a little better. And it took all this time to get out of poverty and to go to college and to do something with it. And I only got that chance because of all these people pushing the ball forward one step at a time, one step at a time. I'm just eternally grateful for that. Okay, so this car, we've been waiting on it for a long time. This is a picture of what my family looked like when we first ordered this car and when the prototype came to our local dealership. You can see that prototype's pretty much exactly like the car we ended up getting. And this is a picture of what my family looks like now when we picked up the car. Viewers may note that although I was 37 when I got on a wait list for the car, as of 4 months ago, I am 40, so I can officially be accused of having a midlife crisis.
Okay guys, so we're here for the museum delivery, and there is the car. It is, it's just, oh man. I think it's just, seeing it in person is just really cool. Really, really cool, so. And there's actually a few other cars here today. So I really like the Riptide Blue Metallic. There's one of those right here. This is what I would have built if it wasn't the car that I got. I like the titanium wheels on that really, really well. I like the silver badging, and that is just a super cool car right there. Just really cool. Yeah, that's exactly like I would have built it, except it would have been a Z07. And then they actually have one here with the silver stripes. I hadn't ever seen one with the silver stripes, so and now it's a metallic red instead of torch red. But I think that looks, I like that. That looks pretty cool. I think I like those silver stripes, and I particularly like the border around the silver stripes. That black border there. Of course, this one's a convertible. But yeah, that is really cool. Okay, so here's what I was talking about with the chrome logos. So you can see right here, it's got the chrome logo, but that also means that that this logo here is going to be chrome, or I mean chrome plastic, whatever you call it. And then, of course, the rear emblem is going to be that color, but also the lettering back here will be chrome. And then, of course, I didn't get the dark exhaust bezels. We got the bright exhaust bezels. And I just really like that. For me, with the black wheels, it's just too dark of a car if you get that all in black. So it really brightens it up, which is what I was looking for. I know that's not really the look these days, but I really like it.
Okay, so these are the famous carbon fiber wheels. This option in particular is for the carbon fiber wheels with the red ring around the rim. That's a traditional thing for time trials cars to have. So I got suckered into selecting that option because this is going to be a time trials car. I think they look great. We'll see if it ends up being a mistake to actually use them on the track or not. The big thing was this is a rare option. Less than 3% of Corvettes are built with this option. And so I had a really hard time deciding whether the color was going to match right or not. I hadn't seen any of these in person, very few pictures online. I do think the color in the ring is slightly different, but as you can see here, it matches very well with the color on the caliper and the torch red paint. And I have no reservations or problems about it. I think it looks great. But if you were thinking about checking that option out, here's a good picture of what it looks like when you throw it all together.
So they've also got a pretty cool program here at the National Corvette Museum. It is the Leisure Family Corvette Delivery Program, and it gets each kid a shirt like this that says Pit Crew. Say hey, John. Say hello. So each kid gets a shirt that says Pit Crew on it, which is really cool. And they each get a plaque, like a little plaque with their name on it, for the delivery of the car. So be sure to ask for that if you've got kids. Mine are loving it.
So the really great thing about the R8C delivery is that the staff really takes the time to explain the car to you in infinite detail. I had a C7 Stingray already, so I knew a lot of the things, but they were able to skip over those things quickly. They knew what I already knew from owning a C7 and told me new things, and not always things that are in the manual. A lot of little tips and tricks like don't put both key fobs in the cup holder at the same time because that sometimes confuses the car. Just a really great experience and the best possible way of taking delivery for the car as far as I'm concerned.
Alright, so it's time to take the car outside for the first time. And John has drawn the first ride. Are you excited, John? Yes. So yeah. Wave at me, John. Good boy. Roll it down, leave it down.
Sorry. I was gonna say it hooked up again.
As you can see, they've got a new mural in the photo opportunity area just outside the building. I really like it. I think it's a little cooler than the previous Kentucky Derby version. I was told this is the second car to ever use the new mural, so we obviously took quite a few pictures, and after that, it was time to light this candle. A word of advice if you're thinking about making a trip like this: the Hotel Sink is right across the street from the factory, actually closer to the factory than the museum is, and they have garages. I've seen them cost from like $25 a night to $45 a night, but what a cool way to protect your car and keep it out of the rain and not need to wash it in the morning. I will say that the garages are a bit narrow. They will just barely fit a Z06, so take that into account. Okay, so the car is ready to head back to Kansas now. We've swapped out our wheels and tires. We have some titanium wheels, and they're sporting Pilot Sport 4S tires, because I really thought we'd wear out the Sport Cup 2Rs pretty quickly on the cross-country trip back home. That required some very deep lug nuts. There'll be a video coming up soon about what lug nuts to use, where to find them, how deep, but basically the carbon fiber wheels are a lot thicker, so their studs are like that long, and you have to have really deep lug nuts in order to get them to work with these wheels. I don't think it looks bad like this. It certainly looks better than just studs. And then of course, all of the high impact areas of the car have been wrapped in track wrap, because it is going to be going in later next week for PPF, and I don't want to get scratched up on the way home. So that's pretty much it. Thank goodness for the wrecked Suburban. We're way behind on that video series, but thank goodness that it's got a lot of space in the back, and thank goodness that these carbon fiber wheels are a good bit easier to lift into the back of this thing than the regular wheels. I almost forgot one last thing. I spoke with one of the Corvette transmission engineers at the Bash a few years ago, and he was really clear that if you pick the car up at an NCM delivery, you need to make sure that you don't just hop on the interstate and cruise at one speed several hundred miles home. He wanted you to go take the back roads, stopping, starting, stopping at stoplights. That way the transmission is shifting up and down and up and down, and you're getting all of the correct brake-in. So, it just so happens that Kentucky has some of the best back roads in the country, if you ask me. Lots of little town squares and beautiful green rolling hills, great blue skies, and I really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been a long journey, and this is just the beginning. We'll see you next time.